Hello, guys. Welcome to Church Slavonic Azbuka. Church Slavonic Practicum, and today we're going to have a lesson on Church Slavonic Azbuka, which is alphabet. Church Slavonic alphabet. I already did a stream on the alphabet before, and why am I doing again is because first of all, guys, we all know that repetition is the mother of learning, right? So repetition is actually good. And when we learn something and then we learn it again and we do the repetition, we repeat, that's how we get better. So that's number one. Reason number two is because we have a bunch of new subscribers, and I just want to do it again because people miss past videos. When the previous, I had another live like maybe a couple of weeks ago on the alphabet, and once the live is done on YouTube, it actually YouTube doesn't recommend it, so it's not recommended, and it's just forgotten. So unless the person will intentionally go into the channel and then check all the lives, previous past lives, but people usually don't do that, and it means they don't really they miss the lesson. And this is going to be a lesson, and let me go to the next page. So Church Slavonic Azbuka. Azbuka is alphabet on Church Slavonic. And why Azbuka is, it's the same as alphabet. Alphabet is alpha and beta, and Azbuka is as the first letter of Church Slavonic alphabet, as, and then Buki, the second letter of Church Slavonic alphabet. So if we take two first letters of the Church Slavonic alphabet, as and Buki, then it comes the word Azbuka. Azbuka. So Azbuka means alphabet. And this is the whole Church Slavonic alphabet. And let's see, tell me, who can tell me, who remembers how many letters does Church Slavonic alphabet have? How many letters? How many letters are there in Church Slavonic alphabet? I want to see the answer in comments section. 67. Oh my goodness, guys. No, we're not making brain rot jokes. This is not the place. It's inappropriate because language is sacred. The words carry energy, and we don't want the brain rot, because that's what is brain rot. It rottens our brain. So let's get serious. And okay, so Church Slavonic alphabet actually nowadays have 40 letters. When I tell in my videos that Church Slavonic alphabet has 40 letters, and then we go through all these letters that you see on a screen, actually people, some just rarely, on a rare occasion, I get a comment saying, but you forgot and a few letters. Books. Okay, I mixed Church Slavonic and English. So they tell me that I forget some letters, which is, guys, keep in mind, first of all, this is the latest, the Church Slavonic language was reformed a few times, and originally it was very different, and even it called different. It wasn't called Cyrillic, because the other name for Church Slavonic is Cyrillic after the Saint Cyril, the one that you can see on the picture right now. It's like the image, the picture of an icon of Saints Cyril and Methodius, two brothers who worked really hard to create Church Slavonic alphabet. And Saint Cyril, he was the main worker, and Saint Methodius was his brother who was helping him and continued his work after Saint Cyril passed away. But so it's called after Saint Cyril passed away, his disciples gave the name to the Church Slavonic Cyrillic. But before that, when he actually originally created the original alphabet, it was called Glagolitic. Okay, Glagolitic. And it was really different from what we see right now. And then it was adapted by Saint Cyril's disciples and his brother Saint Methodius, and it continued to develop through the years and even centuries, and some of the letters were removed from the alphabet, and right now, like, this is the latest version of Church Slavonic. So before this version, it was 44 letters, okay? 44. And those are the letters that sometimes I get comments like, you forgot those letters. No, I didn't forget anything, because this is Church Slavonic. We also had Old Church Slavonic. So with Old Church Slavonic, that's when there were more letters and they were a little bit different. So are you ready to go through all the letters? So let's just also note that every letter in Church Slavonic language has three things. It has a name. A name means, how do you name this letter? Then it has a sound, like how you actually pronounce the letter. And it has a form or a shape. And also it has a meaning, because every letter means something, but it's going to be a topic of the next lesson because it's going to be too much and confusing for you today. So let's just, you know what? We're going to make another live stream. I don't know when, soon. Like the next one, I will dedicate to the meanings of the letters. What do they mean? Because actually, if you take all these letters and then when you know the meanings of all these letters, they create sentences. Like they create the real meaning. So you decode something. It's like people call it a sermon or sermon. How do we say it? Sermon in English. So Saint Cyril, or Kirill, as I say, because that's the Greek name. And now it's Russian also, because in Russia we have the same name, but it comes from Greek Kirill. And in English it's Cyril. So the Russian alphabet, Church Slavonic alphabet, in English we call it Cyrillic. Originally it is Cyrillic. So in Russia we say Cyrillic, from Kirill, Saint Kirill, comes from Greek, Kirill. The name is Greek. So, but in English it's Cyril and Cyrillic. And all right. So right now, well, actually here it says Cyrillic, Glagolitic and Cyrillic alphabets. Yeah. So I don't have here the version of Glagolitic alphabet. This is the Cyrillic alphabet, okay? So let's go. And so, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't finish about the sermon. So Saint Cyril created the sermon with those letters. So the sermon, it teaches us something. It has a message for us. He like coded, encrypted a message that when we know the meaning of these words, of the names of the letters, then we actually decode the message. And it's a really it's a great one. It's a sermon. It's a sermon. A sermon? How we say it? Whatever. Excuse me for my English as a second language. So let's go. This is the first letter of Church Slavonic alphabet. And the name of this letter is as. You can see here, as. As. And when we say this letter, when we see that letter, that it's pronounced ah, just ah, ah, not a, not like apple, but ah. You wide open your mouth and you go ah, okay? So that's the first one, first letter, ah, ah, and the name as. So let's go to the second one. The name Buki. Buki is the name of the letter Buki, and we pronounce it B, 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 Buki, B. Веди, В, Веди, В, В, В. Глагол, глагол, Г, 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 глагол. Добро, 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 Д, Д. So when you see that letter in the word, you say D. You read it like D. And you know what? After this alphabet, I actually have another camera that will show us the book. So we're gonna try to find those letters in the words. We're gonna go through the book with the words, and I will show you how to pronounce them in the book, like we're gonna read them, okay? So, D, добро, D, добро. Есть, есть, Е. Живете, Ж, живете, Ж. I encourage you guys to repeat after me. This is how you practice, okay? So when I say, you just, because this is the lesson, just take it not as a video, not as an entertainment, but work with me. Take it seriously as you're in a class, and you're at the lesson, and just work with me because that's going to help you. So let's go. Ж, живете, живете, Ж, Ж. Зело, зело, З, зело, Z, Z, Z. And now look, that's a catch. This is a different letter. It has a different form, different shape, right? It has a different name. Земля. But it pronounces the same as this one. This is Z, and this is Z. But you write them different ways, so they have a different form. Then they're named different. This is zelo, and this is земля. And they have both different meanings, They are just pronounced the same, guys. So they just have the same pronunciation, but they actually, those are two different letters. So, but they pronounce the same. And so when you find them in the words, you read this is Z and this is Z. And in the next lesson, because not now, it's going to be too much, we actually will talk about why is that? How is it this thing called? What is the name for that thing and why does it happen? So, but now you know this is зело z, земля z. Now, иже, иже, and you pronounce it I, okay? I, иже, I. And this letter does not have the name. In Russian language, we say I десятиричная. The name, it's like by the name of the number, because also every letter of Church Slavonic language, of Church Slavonic alphabet, represents a number. Like in Roman alphabet, like the Roman numbers are represented by the letters of the alphabet, okay? So the same thing in Church Slavonic. And so this is I. See, this is I, and this is I, okay? It's like with Z. Z, Z, I. So don't get confused. Don't be like, oh, it's easy actually when you, that's why I tell you, repetition. We need repetition, because when you do it over and over, it clicks. Люди. Л. Люди. Л. Люди. Мыслете. Мыслете. Наш. Наш. Он. On is the name. But we read it when we see it in the book. We read it O. Okay? Покой. P. Покой. P. Покой. Слово. С. Слово. С. Твердо. Т. Твердо. Т. Ук. Ук. With that transliteration, don't get confused with you, because the transliteration is different. We use the Latin. For the transliteration, we use the Latin letters to represent Russian or Church Slavonic sounds, and to represent the sound U. In the transliteration, we use J-U. So if you see J-U, then you know that you should pronounce it as U. But when you see the U in transliteration, the transliteration is usually in the brackets. So when you see the U in transliteration, then you know it's U, all right? U, uk, uk. Guys, I have a video on the transliteration, how to read the Church Slavonic transliteration. It's on my videos. It's on my channel, Church Slavonic Practicum, on this channel. When you scroll down through the videos, you can find that, and it will help you to figure out how to read the transliteration, because it's also hard. And also I want to say that lots of English speaking people really say that once you learn how to read the Church Slavonic, it actually gets easier to read Church Slavonic versus the transliteration, because there's lots of clergy, like the church deacons, or sometimes maybe priests, who serve during the liturgy. They read the prayer book, the prayers, and they want to read in Church Slavonic, use Church Slavonic for prayers, and they have the prayer book, which has, let's say, English text, and on the other page is the Church Slavonic, but transliterated. And they read it in transliteration because they don't know Church Slavonic. But once they learn Church Slavonic, they actually all say that it's easier to read Church Slavonic versus the transliteration, which is true. So watch my video if it's going to help you to learn how to use the transliteration. But I only encourage using transliteration when you learn Church Slavonic, because to learn Church Slavonic, you need transliteration to know how to pronounce the Church Slavonic words. But I encourage you to learn Church Slavonic, because that will be easier for you. So let's go to the next letter. So this one was the name uk, and the sound u. We pronounce this letter u, u, u. And this is fjert, fjert, fjert. We say fe, fe, fe. And this is her, the letter her, h, h, her, h. Letter ot. Look how beautiful is that letter. And actually this letter is it consists of two letters. The first one, the main one, the first one that you see, the big one, like kind of round-ish, looks like a little bit like W. It's omega. It's a Greek omega. And then on top of omega, and omega is O, okay? Omega pronounces O. And then on top of that omega, we see the small T, okay? Small like T, T. So omega plus omega, which is O, and T with T that on top will give you ot. So this letter has a name ot, and we actually read it ot. So the sound is also ot, okay? Ot. Tsi, tsi. So look, the transliteration is a little bit ts, ts. So this is the letter that we use in the word tsar, tsar, the king, right? Tsar. And people sometimes say czar, czar, the same. The tsar is czar or tsar. So it's tse, tse, tse. Okay, try practice it. Tse, 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 tsar. Not czar, but tsar. Tsar, tsar, tsar. Let's go. Червь, червь, червь. We pronounce ch, 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 ch. And this is Sha, is the name, Sha. And we pronounce sh, sh, sh. So this is ch, ch. This is sh. And now if we take sh and give it a tail right here, you see this is sh. And this is sh. Let's see the difference. Sh, sh. This one is softer. It's like it's like this, sh, but softer. Sh. And the names are sha, sha. Okay, you see the softness in sha? The one with the tail is soft. Sha. Sha, sha. Sha, sha. Those are the names. And the sounds. Sh, sh. Okay? So this is not the letter. This is the sign. Like, it indicates the hardness of the consonant. So this is the hard sign, as we will call it. Hard sign. And it doesn't have a sound, a name. But when you see that sign, you know that the consonant before it is hard. For example, r. Because I'll give you example of another sign which makes it soft, and you will see the difference. So this is hard one, and actually it has the name. It doesn't have pronunciation. You don't pronounce it. It doesn't have a sound, but it's the name is yer, yer. Okay, it's called yer. It doesn't have any transliteration. And this one is yeri, yeri, and the sound is uy, uy, uy. So when you see it in the text, it's uy. You say uy. Uy is like in the like it's close. It will sound close to the word to in the word litter, like litter box for the cat. Litter box, litter box, litter box, litter box, So you say and yere. And this is the soft sign. This is the soft sign, and it's yere. So when you see this yere in the word, then you know that the letter before this sign is soft. And you can even see it in its name. So the name is yer, yer. Look at r, r. It's soft. Yer, yer, r, r. And then look at this one. Yer, yer. R is hard because this sign goes after r. So this sign goes after r. R is hard. When this sign goes after r, it's r, r, r. It's soft. Okay, guys? Yer, yer. Yer, yer. I hope it helps. Try with me. Yer, yer. Yer, yer. Okay, let's move. Yet. Yet. All right, so look. Yet. What do you think this word has at the end? What letter this word ends with? This letter ends with soft sign, okay? After t, yet, t. After t, t, there is a soft sign. And because of that, we say yet. T is soft, okay? Here comes this sign. So we just learned it. And now you see the example of it, okay? So this letter is yat. And you pronounce it yeah. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Yat. Yeah. 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 And this one is you. And in transliteration, you can see you. That's how you pronounce this one. You. This is ya. Ya. The name is ya. The pronunciation is ya. Try with me. Ya. 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 Okay, this one is omega. Remember we saw omega in this one, but this is 2 letters, omega plus T, and it gives us ot. And this is the omega. So omega comes from Greek alphabet. We brought it to Church Slavonic alphabet. I mean, Saint Cyril and his brother Methodius. Those who created the Church Slavonic alphabet, they brought this letter from the Greek alphabet, and it is omega O. Russian alphabet doesn't have this letter. Church Slavonic has this letter from the Greek alphabet. Russian alphabet removed all the Greek I mean, not all, but all of this. Look, we're going to go through this. These are Greek letters. They come from Greek. These are the last letters of the alphabet. And so they were removed from the Russian alphabet. Russian alphabet ends here with this ya. Russian alphabet ends with this ya. So these letters were removed because they came from Greek. I mean, this from here. So because they were Greek letters and they were just removed. So omega or omega. This is little youth, and it's pronounced ya. And they were also removed because, like, you know, in the Russian alphabet, the adapters of the Russian alphabet decided that we have ya here. This is ya. Why do we need one more ya? Church Slavonic alphabet needed those. They all had a function. They all played a role. They all were needed because they had meanings. The letters had meanings, and so that's why they were meaningful. But the Russian alphabet letters do not have meanings. They're just empty letters without a meaning. So some of the letters were removed because people were like, we don't need them. That's why Church Slavonic is really cool and not comparable to Russian alphabet. So we can't. Some people think Church Slavonic and Russian are the same. No, they're not. No, they're not. Okay. Ks. This is the letter ksi, and the sound is ks. Ksi, ks, ksi, ks. This is psi. This is ksi. This is psi. Ps. Ks. Ps. Okay. Fita. F. Fita. F. Iżyca. 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 So now you can say the Church Slavonic or Russian, like, you know, it's Russian, but it comes from Church Slavonic. Proverb. Okay, let's say Russian proverb, but whatever. It's Church Slavonic. So the Russian proverb says, I learn it from us to Iżyca. From us to Iżyca. What does it mean? I learned it from us to Iżyca. I will tell you what does it mean. To learn something from us to Iżyca, anything, means, look at this. These are all alphabet, and us is the first letter of the alphabet, and Iżyca is the last letter of the alphabet. When you say you learned something from us to Iżyca, it actually means that you learned everything deeply. Here's the last, Iżyca. You saw I scrolled through all of them. I went all the way up to us, and I scrolled all the way down to Iżyca. And the proverb is, I learned or I did. It's used, this proverb used to just, it's like a figure of speech to mean that I finished. Like, you can say, you can give somebody a task to do something, a chore, and then you say, are you done? And the person will say, oh yes, I did it from Az to Ijitsa, which means I did everything. Everything. I went through everything and completed my chore. So this is the first part of our lesson. And now we're going to go to the second part of the lesson, which is I have to switch. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I did a switch of my. It says Church Slavonic Azbuka. So Church Slavonic alphabet. And now we're going to see how we learned our alphabet. So when we open our book, we see the image again, the one that I showed you on in the beginning of the class, but the different one on the alphabet, but now we see it in a book. Again, the image of Saint Cyril and Methodius. And here you can see, here it says Saint Methodius. So this is Saint Methodius. Saint Kirill, or we say Cyril in English, but in Russian and in Church Slavonic and in Greek, it is Kirill. So here, and it says, because look, in Church Slavonic, you write Kirill with K. Kirill. We write it K-I, R-I, L, and the sign of hard letter, which we went through all of the alphabet, so we're ready to learn reading. So Saint Kirill in all the images always represented with the scroll, because he is the one. I say is because he's sent. It was many centuries ago, but for me he is the creator of the Church Slavonic alphabet. And this is why in all the images, there are plenty of images of Saint Cyril in different forms. But he is always in every image. Oh, in Moscow, there is a monument. In Moscow, there is a place, it's called Slavianskaya Ploshchad, which is translated the square of Slavs, or I don't know, Slavonic square, whatever you call it in English, I don't know. So, but the Slovenian, I mean Slavs square. So it's a square. It's like a park, whatever, square, and there's a monument, and even there the Saint Cyril is represented with a scroll also, because he's always in every icon, every way he's represented with a scroll to remind us that he created the Church Slavonic alphabet. But these brothers both have a book, hold a book, because they were the one who created the whole language, the whole Church Slavonic language, to worship God. The whole language was created in the purpose of worshiping God and translating the Holy Scriptures, the holy books, and for people to learn all about the Christianity, for Slavs to learn all about the Christianity. So the whole language was created by these two brothers, and then it was adapted and developed by their disciples when these brothers passed away. But so that's why these brothers are always represented with the books, because they are equal to apostles. You can read it here. Святые равноапостольные Мефодий и Кирилл, учители словенности. So we translate it as saints, saint equal to apostles. Methody and Cyril, the teachers of Slavs. Okay, that's how they are written down in history, in our church history, because they were the teachers of Slavs. They taught everything, the holy scriptures, the books, everything. They created the whole alphabet for us Slavs to learn Christianity, to learn about our Lord. And so this is the whole alphabet, which, and you know what? Well, I hope I could see how you guys can see it. So, okay, let's go here. Oh, here we go. That's what we're gonna do. So, I don't know how you can, I hope you can see it on your screen. I encourage you to watch this video on computer so that you're gonna have a bigger screen. And so this is the letter as, okay? A. This means that this letter represents the number. I told you earlier that the numbers in Church Slavonic are represented by letters, like the Roman numbers are also represented by the letters of Latin alphabet. Okay, Latin alphabet represent the Roman numbers. So yeah, Church Slavonic is the same. So this is number 1 if we use it. And how do we know that this letter is used in the text as a number? So when this letter when any letter is used as a number, you can see the letter and then this sign on top of the letter. This sign is called titlo. So this sign, when you see the letter and this sign on top of the letter, you know that it means a number. And then when you just memorize what letter means what number, but you don't really need it. So I don't encourage you right now to use your energy for this, because you can do it later in life. But I do encourage you first to learn the letters and then to start reading, because that's how you can start reading the prayers. That's the most important part, that you can start reading Church Slavonic, Orthodox prayers in original language in Church Slavonic, which is so cool. So as you see that this is as, it's in the beginning. Okay, as, and these are the words with this letter. Amvon. You see this as. Amvon. Then you see this as in the beginning of the word. Artos. What is artos? Let's see. What is artos? Artos is this bread. Okay. Amvon is this. Then Alleluia. You see here and you see here. So these two two ases. Alleluia. Analoi. Archierei. Archierei. Turn the page. This is again Agil. Apostle Andrei. Первозванный. This is all We just see how is pronounced in words. Then we go Archangel. Okay. And then we go here. Let's see these words. These are all words with Agnes, Adam, Ad, Apocalypsis. This is ps. Remember ps. That's how we use it. Apocalypsis. Avraham. This is 3 A's in this one word. We can see Avraham. Next page, we have buki. Buki. B. This is the B. Buki. Okay? Buki. B. Buki. And let's see the words. So this is the main word, like we all know. Bog. Okay? B. This is B. Bog. Then благословение. B. Благословение. Благословение. We don't have B here, so I'm gonna go to the words with B. Biblia. See this B? We have two of B in this word Biblia. 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 Богослужение. Богослужение. Божий. Божий. Божественный. Благ. Блажен. Благодать. Okay. Let's turn the page. Богородица. You say Bogorodica, but why is it so short? This is a topic from a different lesson, guys. This is not for today's lesson, but I will just explain that there are some words in Church Slavonic language that are so sacred, we don't write them whole, but we abbreviate those words. So they are abbreviated, and on top of the word, how do you know that the word is abbreviated? Because you have that small abbreviation mark on the top of the word. And when you see it, then you realize that this word is abbreviated, and this is actually Bogorodica. Because it's such a sacred word, you don't even write it whole. And it comes from, I think, biblical Hebrew, because the biblical Hebrew, they don't write the names of the God or the names of the sacred things, like, persons. Like, for example, for us, Bogorodica is a very sacred person. So, or God, so sacred that they also didn't, the Jewish person will never write God. The Jewish person will write G dash D. So they will abbreviate the word, because it's like believed that we're so sinful, we don't we don't deserve to say those to pronounce. Like, for example, I'll say I'm sinful and I don't deserve to speak the names of God or sacred persons around God, that I actually abbreviate them. So Jewish people are not allowed to pronounce the names of God. And so here we don't write Bogorodica like the whole thing. We abbreviate, we show that it's sacred, too sacred, and we use that abbreviation mark, the titlo. It's called titlo abbreviation mark. And here's the great example. Isus Christos, Jesus Christ, Isus Christos. We don't write the whole thing Isus Christos. We abbreviate Is, which means Isus, Is, and Hs, which means Christos. We abbreviate them. And this is titlo. Titlo, the abbreviation mark. Okay? The abbreviation mark, the titlo, means that the word is abbreviated and it is very sacred. Isus Christos. Like, you know what? When the priest places his palm, the fingers, this way, this certain position, the fingers, and blesses us. Blessing, blessing, благословение, благословение, the blessing. So when the priest bless you, bless, благословение, with this position of the fingers, this position of the fingers actually is sacred and it has meaning. It's not like, it's not like just any position. Like there is a special, I don't want to show because I'm not a priest. So it's a special certain way of placing your fingers because they represent these sacred letters of the sacred name of our Lord, Jesus Christos. This is the blessing. It's so it is so powerful when the priest blesses you. It's not like it doesn't come from him. Through him, it comes the blessing of Jesus Christos. We have to know, we keep that in mind, how powerful is the blessing of the priest. How powerful it is. So let's go with the letters B. B. Бесплотный. B. Богоневеста. B. Богослов. B. Look, there's two B. B and B. Бессребренник. Okay? Then благодатная. Благодатная sounds longer than actually, right? You'll say, oh, I think it sounds more than these letters. Why? Let's see, because you see this titlo, this abbreviation mark, we have it here. So благодатная is abbreviated. And why is it abbreviated? Because благодатная means somebody who gives you благо, like the blessing, like somebody who radiates the goodness and blessing. And who is that? This is the name, another name, like the description of Godmother, of our Theotokos, of Богородица. Who is благодатная? Богородица. So Богородица. Богородица is благодатная, which means she's like blessed, And this is the angel who came to Богородица to tell her that she's expecting. And in Church Slavonic, that prayer will be Благодатная Дево радуйся. So he comes to her and he tells her, Благодатная Дево радуйся, like be joyful, the Благодатная Дева. So that's why Благодатная is abbreviated, because we talk about Богородица and it's a sacred word. It's like another name for her. Although it's adjective, which is like the descriptive word, it means her quality. She is благодатная. Благословение. And look, the благословение is also abbreviated because it's a sacred word. It's the blessing. So благословение. So look here, we were just talking about what is благословение. This is the благословение, the blessing. And the blessing, the благословение means this. So we talked about that. So let's go to the other letter, the next letter, Vedi. 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 Okay. And this letter represents in Church Slavonic the number 2. As I, again, saying I'm just repeating and repeating, but it's good to repeat. So as the letters represent the numbers the same way the Latin letters represent Roman numbers. So the Church Slavonic letters represent Church Slavonic numbers, and so the letter Vedi, Vedi represents number 2. And then you will ask why but doesn't represent number 2. Why? You'll say, well, okay, the question is why us? here, the first letter, as, represents number 1. And then the second letter doesn't represent a number. And then the third number represents number 2. So there is a catch. The numbers in Church Slavonic do not follow the alphabetic order, which means the first letter represents number 1, but then the third letter represents number 2. And then you will ask why. Is because in Church Slavonic, only Greek letters represent the numbers. So the letters of Church Slavonic alphabet that come from Greek alphabet are representing the numbers. And so the letter as was borrowed from the Greek. They have the Greek also, and so it is 1. But this letter, buki, doesn't come from Greek alphabet. This is strictly Slavs letter, belongs to Slavonic, Slavs language, and so that's why it doesn't have any number. And then Vedi was borrowed, this letter was borrowed from the Greek alphabet. It comes from Greek, and so that's why it's number 2. And let's read the words with Vedi. Vladyka, the master. And so you see this word is also abbreviated, but we clearly can see the letter V, and that's what matters. Vladyka, Vladyka. And this is Vladychitsa. Vladychitsa is also abbreviated because Vladychitsa is the Bogorodica, Theotokos. Theotokos is Vladychitsa, but Vladyka is the master, and Vladychitsa is Bogorodica. So the word means the same, the same meaning as the master, but only in the feminine. Okay, the feminine master is Vladychitsa, and we have only one Vladychitsa in the whole universe, who is Bogorodica, Theotokos. And what is this? This is when we talk about the letter Vedi, we have a few of those letters in the short like sentence. Введение во храм Пресвятой Владычицы нашей Богородицы и Преснодевы Марии. This is when the Theotokos was taken into the temple, okay? Remember when she was a young girl, and that's the only time in history when she was entering the temple. That's called, that day, the holy day is called Введение, and we have a lot of Владычицы, abbreviated, нашея Богородицы, abbreviated, Преснодевы, abbreviated, Марии, abbreviated, Марии. Okay? So V. Let's go to the next letter. Again, V. We have more V. And why we have more V is, this is Вход Господень в Иерусалим, неделя Ваи, вербное воскресенье. So V. This is the Palm Sunday. This represents in Russia, because we don't have palms in Russia. So for the Palm Sunday, Russians use verba, and verba starts with V, Vedi. Okay? And what is Vaya? This is we say branch, the Vaya. Okay? And what is this? Воскресение. You see the abbreviation mark here. It's abbreviated. Воскресение. Воскресение is the resurrection. So when you see the word воскресение with the abbreviation mark, you know that this word means resurrection. When you see, but not in Church Slavonic, but when you go to the Russian language and you see the whole word воскресение, in Russian language, воскресение means Sunday. So when we go about the names of the week, the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So in Russian language, понедельник, вторник, среда, четверг, пятница, суббота, воскресенье, the last day of the week, воскресенье means resurrection. And so воскресенье is the resurrection in Church Slavonic. Воскресенье. So, but in Russian it's also used as a Sunday. Okay, V. It's also V. And I don't know if you want to read more V or you want to move on. So let's read V. Вседержитель. В. Вера. В. Ведение. Вознесение Господне. Okay, V. This is V. And this is another verb, but let's just maybe move to the next. I'll just say венчание. Венчание. What is венчание? Here's венчание, the marriage. The Orthodox marriage is called венчание with the letter V. All right. Here we go. Глагол. Глагол. G. Number 3. Г. Господь. Иисус Христос. Господь. Lord. It's also the sacred word. That's why it's abbreviated. We don't write it the whole thing. When we mean the Lord Jesus Christ, it says here Господь Иисус Христос. The Lord Jesus Christ, we say Господь. Then гроб Господин. The гроб Господин. Гроб Господин. Гроб is the my gosh, how is it in English? Please, can you write somebody can write me in the comments what's the word for, how you call it? Well, when you bury a person, you put the person into the what? Cast? Is it cast, right? Cast, гроб. This box that the person is put for the burial, for the funeral, is the гроб. Гроб. G. Where's the G? Гроб. Гроб Господин. So гроб of the Lord. Okay, G. And then горний, горе, глаголати, грех, гордыня, Голгофа. Okay, G. That's all G words. We go to the добро. Добро, number 4. Добро. Let me just read. Дух, with a mark, abbreviation mark. Дух. Духовенство. Душа. 2. Добродетель. David. So David is David, but with the abbreviation mark because also he's like the sacred person, David. So we abbreviate. So when we see the name David abbreviated, we means that the David, that's the one David. So because anyone can be David, right? We can name David. There's so many Davids around. So when you write David in the text, how do you know that this David is the biblical David, or it's just my neighbor David? So when you have a text and you see the abbreviated David, It means that's the biblical, the sacred David. And if you want to write just your neighbor David, then you just write the regular David, not abbreviated. Let's move to the, well, we can say the diakon. Okay, the diakon, okay? Diakon, deacon, diakon. Or discus, you want to say also the discus. I can read all of them. We just in the four, like, we have 40 letters. I don't know, it's going to be forever. It's going to be the longest stream if I'm going to have enough time. So, but discos, that's the display. Discos, the. Дар, святые дары, дарохранительница. That's where we put the sacred дары, okay? Дары we put here. Есть. Number 5. Елеосвящение. Елеосвящение is also abbreviated, but you can see the letter есть. The letter есть in this word, you can see 3 of them. Ye. 4. It's not 3, it's 4. So you go елеосвящение. Okay, all of these елеосвящение. And then another one is Евангелие. And Евангелие. And the Евангелие is also, it's longer than it's written because it's abbreviated, because it's a sacred word. Елей, епископ, Ектения, Епитрахиль. Okay, Епитрахиль. This is all ye. Живете. Живете. Here we go. Живете. Жены мироносцы. Жены, the women, жены. Then животворящий, животворящий, жизнодавец, okay? Жезл, жертва, жертвенник, живот, okay? All of this, Зело. Remember this зело and земля, both of them, We're gonna go with зело. Zelo. So zelo. Let's read. Z. Number 6. Звезда. Okay. Звезда Вифлеемская. Вифлеемская. Whatever. The star of Vifleem. How we say that in English? Vifleem. Вифлеемская звезда. The star of Vifleem. You know what I mean. So зло, змей. Звездица, чудо, святаго, Георгия, о змеи, змей. Here we go. Here's the змей. Змей, okay? And then, so these are the words with the letter зело. And let's go with the words with the letter земля. Well, same sound will be same sound. Number 7, Z. Same sound, Z and Z. This Z is number 6. This Z is number 7. Let's go. Z. Завет. Заповедь. Знамение. Крестное знамение. Закон Божий. So, actually, with the zelo has a limited number of words, and we can just, if you follow with my lessons over and over, you learn later that we can just, there's a limited number of the words with this zelo, and we can just memorize all of them. There's not too much, and then we know all the letters with the zelo. But земля, there's a lot. There's like all the rest of the letters with z are with the letter земля. Okay? Иже. Иже. И, number 8. Let's go with the words. First of all, исповедь. Исповедь. Okay? Исповедь. Исповедь. So, исповедь, confession, and who is the guy who, or like the guy, I mean the person who is somebody who does the confession. So, the исповедь, confession, исповедь, and the person who is under confession is the исповедник. So, исповедь, исповедник, истина, имя, искушение, искупление, изрядно. Those are all E. And now again E. It will be again E. It's just E, the one that represents number 10. But it will be another E. Иерархия, иерей, Иерусалим, abbreviated, Иордан, and then we go иерархия, Иудей, Израиль, abbreviated, Israel, abbreviated, Иаков, Иисус Христос, okay? Okay. So, E and E. Guys who join this stream right now, later, you just have to then rewatch it when the stream will be done. You just should, rewatch from the beginning, because that's in the beginning we learn everything. Now we just practice. We learned everything. The whole theory was in the beginning. We're just practicing right now. Okay, another E. Икона, иконостас, икона, the icon, the images. Икона, иконостас. Now K. Let's go to K. Како. And the words are K, крест. Кождение, кождение. Клирос, клирос. Кивот. Кадило, кадило. Камилавка. So those are K. And more K. Number 20, K. You see actually how they are skipped. Like this is number 8, this is number 10, and this is number 20. Why? Because like let's say 18, we do this and this, and those will be 18, okay? Then you just do if you want to do any with 10, like 11, 12, whatever, with teens, then you do the 10, and then you use any other number. But for the 20, this is K, 20. So K. Крещение. This is the крещение, the holiday that is coming, really, like when, what is, in a couple of days, the baptism, крещение. And so, крестильня. Крещение is the baptism, but the room where we do the baptism is крестильня, крестильня. And you see both of these words are also, крещение and крестильня, are also sacred, and that's why they are abbreviated. And we use again the same titlo, the abbreviation mark again. So купель, the купель is actually the thingy that you dip the person for baptism. So, okay. К. Крестный отец. К. Крестная мать. К. Купол. К. Колокол. К. Колокольница. All right. Люди. Number 30. Лик. Ликование. Ладан, okay? These are all words start with the L. Лепота, любовь. Любовь, love. Okay. Л. Лазарево воскрешение, the resurrection. Lazar is the name, right? The resurrection of Lazar. So Лазарево воскресение. Воскресение. You remember, right? Воскресение, resurrection. Лазарева. Okay. Another L. Лампада. Ложится. Литургия. The liturgy. Литургия. Литургия. Мыслете. Мыслете. Мария. Мати. Младенец. Милость. Милосердие. Мученик. You know, all of these words are abbreviated, if you can notice, because they all are actually sacred, like Maria, sacred, because we don't use Maria, like my name is Maria, but you will write my name unabbreviated. You will write it the whole thing, Maria, because I'm not holy. I'm just like, your neighbor, one of everyone. But when you see the name Maria abbreviated, then you know that's the one. That's the Theotokos. That's the one, the only one. So, and because this word becomes sacred, we abbreviate this word, Maria. Mati, mother, Maria. Mati Maria, Mother Maria. Младенец. What is младенец? Младенец is the baby, the infant. Младенец, the infant, the baby. But why is it abbreviated? Because this младенец is the one that comes from Mati Maria, the one. So when we talk about младенец, that младенец, the sacred, the word becomes sacred, we abbreviate it. The милость is mercy. Милость is mercy. And then look, why is it abbreviated? Because I'm not talking about the mercy from you. Like, I'm not asking the mercy from my neighbor. The mercy that comes from God is the sacred mercy. And that's why if I write the mercy in the meaning of that one, then I will abbreviate the word. I'm not going to write the whole. But if you want to talk about your neighbor, like, you're asking your neighbor to be mercy to you, then you just use regular. Because your neighbor can give you mercy, but it won't be the sacred mercy that comes from God. So the mercy that comes from God is abbreviated. The regular mercy is not. And милосердие is the thing when you're showing the mercy. So when you are giving mercy, the act of giving mercy is called милосердие. So when that милосердие comes from the Lord, then from our God, then it's abbreviated, okay? And мученик is also in this text is abbreviated. Мученик is the how is it called in Russian? In English. Just 1 second. I'm right now just mixing 3 languages in my head: Church Slavonic, Russian, and English, and sometimes I burn out. The brain burns out. Мученик in English, who suffers, the one who suffers and then, for example, dies. Like Jesus Christ was мученик. You suffer and then you become holy, мученик. Okay, guys, I'm not going to look it up. It's going to take forever. But мученик, like you suffer, the sufferer, and then if you talk about me as a muchenik, like I'm right now I'm suffering. So you're not going to abbreviate this word because like who am I? Well, I'm just a sinner. So you'll just say muchenik about me. Oh, she's poor muchenik. She's just suffering. She can't remember how to say it in English. But when you say about muchenik and about the oh yes, martyr. Thank you so much. Exactly, martyrs. So when we talk about the holy martyrs, those that uh, canonized in the church and become holy people, or like the persons, then we abbreviate this word, so muchenik becomes abbreviated. But me right now, I'm just suffering remembering the word. So you will say muchenik about me, but not in the holy meaning. Like you can say muchenik and write the whole thing, but when we talk about the holy, the people from the scriptures, or the saints, then we abbreviate the word muchenik. Mir. Then mir всем, that when the priest says peace to all, he says mir всем, and it is mir всем mir всем. We have two in this, and then metropolitan. So yeah, metropolitan. Then миропомазание, miro, the incense, incense, yeah. Okay, monastery, number 40, number 40, okay? Monastir, no, hold on, I'm mixing. I'm trying to say it Russian way. No way. It's Church Slavonic. Monastir, okay? Monastir, the monastery, Then monarch, monk, okay? The monk, monarch. Мощи преподобного. So the мощи, the holy, when the person dies, the saint dies, and the saint, and we come the moshi. I don't know, it's in English, like when the holy person dies. I should stretch my actually English vocabulary with the holy words, because I never needed to know them in English. And moshi house, because I always go to the Russian speaking, like the Church Slavonic speaking churches. So lots of church words I only know in Church Slavonic and in Russian, and I don't know them in English. So moshi is one of the words. Moshi is when the person, the holy, the saint dies, and the remains of him, they become like holy, like they can heal. You come to their moshi, you come to their moshi to pray, to ask them to pray for us, so that you ask them, please pray for me in front of God. And so those remains are moshi. We have a lot of icons where icon has inside a piece of moshi. So that's the word moshi. Nash, nash. Okay, nash, it's number 50. And the words nебо. And again, look, you see how many words in Church Slavonic are actually considered to be sacred, and they are abbreviated. And once we learn them, it becomes so easy to read them in the prayer book. Небо is the sky. And then it could be just the sky, but the sky where God sits is the sacred sky, like the heaven. Okay, so actually, like the sky in the meaning of heaven, because the heaven, that we also have the word heaven, but it's more rai, and it's more with the meaning of that, the garden, But the heaven in the sky, that one, we call it небо, небо, and it's abbreviated, okay? And then небесный, небесный. Небесный means something that comes from up from the sky, from the heaven, небесный. And then невеста, невеста, невестная. Look how many na in this word. Na, na, na. Невестная, богоневеста, надежда. Because I know it would be like really good to translate you all of the words, but it's gonna take forever. That's what we have to do. Having like the whole, I don't know, year of the learning, and that's what we would do on my courses, on my like Zoom courses. But right now we just go through all of this. We just do a quick review of the alphabet. Несение креста. Нимб. Нерукотворный образ спасов. Набедренник. All right. You know what? And we still... Actually, we did so much. We did almost 30 pages of the book. And you know what? I think I'm going to finish for today because it's been already an hour and a half of the lesson. And I think it's really too much. I'm getting burned out. This is on and this is omega. And they both sound o. Like the око, образовать. This is o and this is o. I mean, here, I don't show you. This is o and this is o. But this is on. The sounds are sound pronunciation o and pronunciation o. But this is the letter on and this is the letter omega. And so the on is number 70. And so, guys, I think we did 30 pages of the book, and it's been over 1.5 hours. So I think we're going to finish for today. You also can, check my website, the churchslavonic.practicum.com and churchslavonic.practicum.org. And I am actually planning to start a new course on level 1. I think I am probably done with introductory courses. I will see, because I've been doing a lot of rounds of introductory courses, and they're very short, like 5 lessons in a course, but it's like introduction to Church Slavonic, so that the students get the idea if they really want to dedicate their time, energy, and commit, because it's you have to really to commit yourself for studying Church Slavonic. That's why that course is really very short, 5 lessons, 5 weeks, 1 lesson a week, and then we do a lot in those 5 lessons, and the person realizes if he wants to study Church Slavonic. And then if the person wants to study Church Slavonic, then they go to level 1, Church Slavonic 1. And so I think I'm gonna start a new enrollment, start over the level 1 course. So you can check the website, churchslavonic.practicum.org. There's some resources over there. There's a blog section where I have some some handouts for my YouTube videos, because I have some YouTube video lessons, and then you can just have some printouts from that website. So it's always good to check that website and see also if I start a new course and you want to enroll into the course. So this is what I encourage you to do. And also, what else? Just go over the the Church Slavonic alphabet. I have a few videos that are on my YouTube channel. If you just watch, go scroll through the old videos and scroll through the old lives. So there's a video section and there's a live section. And if you scroll through the live sections, you can see the life lessons like today's, um, with the the alphabet and with the history of Church Slavonic. So, okay, I had so much fun being with you today, and have a great weekend and great holidays, because we're still in the holiday season and we're not over with the holidays. So, thank you for watching Church Slavonic Practicum. Thank you for learning Church Slavonic with me. I have hope that it's not gonna die in America, because it's been used less. It's not much, unfortunately, people from the countries who use Church Slavonic are coming to America now. And yeah, it's like I see less of Church Slavonic around, and I really worry, because I'm worried it's if it, like, it's really, it's a great experience to pray in Church Slavonic, but only when you really know the meaning, know what it means. Not like, just um, when you just read or memorize the transliteration and you don't really know the deep meaning behind those words, then it's kind of useless. So that's why I'm doing it. And thank you for watching. And please don't forget to check once in a while through the channel, because I post new videos whenever I have a chance. Unfortunately, I don't have as much, you know, um, opportunity to do that. But whenever I have a chance, I do. And there are some videos, and there's not a lot of views, which is like, I always question myself, am I actually wasting my time? Like, is it really needed? Because for me, it takes a lot of effort and time, like a lot of resources to make those videos, because life is hard and I have my hardships in life, but I still do them. And when I see the views, there's not much views, I'm like thinking, maybe nobody needs those, and maybe I shouldn't do them. But we'll see. I'll still continue. I'll be doing them, and maybe later, maybe YouTube doesn't show them much. I also see when you go to the YouTube, I don't know. There's the analytics section for people who make videos, they have. And when I go to the YouTube analytics, I see that YouTube doesn't really promote my videos, and it's because I'm a very small channel, and I don't have monetization, and YouTube is not interested in promoting my videos and recommending people to watch my videos. It just recommends just a few people when you watch the analytics, because YouTube doesn't really make money of me, because I'm not monetized. And the channels who are the channels that are monetized, they are really recommended by YouTube. YouTube starts showing to more people in the feed and everything, because YouTube wants money. And to be monetized, you need a lot. Like, I don't think I will ever be monetized, my channel on YouTube, um because it's not that popular. Like, it's not hype. Like, if you do brain rot, if you do some hype, then your channel really grows. But this is Church Slavonic, and it's an educational, and you need to just, it's actually hard. You need show a lot of effort to learn Church Slavonic, and you have to have a real purpose and reason why would you do that. You have to be Orthodox and you have to be like in the Orthodox church that uses Church Slavonic. Otherwise, you don't really need it. It's useless for you. So there's not much interest in Church Slavonic. So I will never get the qualification to get monetized, because you have to have a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, which I will never get. And this will bring me to the point that my channel will never be recommended to a lot of people, and this makes me sad, because maybe somebody who really want to learn Church Slavonic, or Orthodox people who really want to know the meaning of the Church Slavonic prayers, they miss my channel because YouTube doesn't really promote my channel, but it's okay. So, okay, guys, that was a long talk. Thank you for watching anyway, because I really enjoy doing this and I really have fun. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye bye.